Right, everyone, welcome to the first annual Halloween special of Mini Matters, and we are going to discuss our favourite new Halloween-ish releases, newish Halloween releases, and all three of us picked our favourites, and we're going to go through them. So enjoy, and hopefully you will enjoy it. Anyway, welcome, guys. You two as well. Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
So just quickly, how well do you know the models that you picked before this?
Yeah, pretty well.
I've seen them about, and I discovered the stand at SMC, so I had a chance last week to have
There was a
bit closer.
Halloween stand, was there?
No, the models from the manufacturer I picked, they had a stand. No, there wasn't a Halloween stand.
Right, I thought that's ridiculously apt. Yeah,
that would have been brilliant if there was, but no, sadly not.
Okay, cool, got you. Well, Lionel, I'll throw you in then, mate, and we will start with yours.
Okay, so as you said, Jamie, you've said we're looking at horror themed models. Now, the models I've picked might not be obvious from the beginning in terms of horror, so I thought I'd explain them to begin with. When you're young, the idea of what scares you is very different to what scares you as an adult. So this is where I'm coming from with this theme. Obviously, things that go bump in the dark when you're younger, ghost schools and the like are the sort of things that make you scared. But as you grow older and you become an adult, you realise actually things centred in reality, things that could happen, tend to be far more scary. Well, from my perspective anyway, than anything supernatural or that on the air sky. So, I've picked these models because I find them quite disturbing. So they're not your usual horror sculpts, but the setting, the way they can present it, can be quite disturbing. And also, I recently watched the Chernobyl TV show, which was very
comedy
good.
or
no. It was a Sky Atlantic show, and it was very haunting,
right.
Very disturbing, and that's rooted in reality.
Was that is that based on the actual events of what happened? Right. Yeah, it's not like a post-apocalyptic somehow.
No.
Yeah.
It was a docudrama about what really happened. Yeah, and I don't want to go into a side movie TV show review here, but it's a very good show and quite haunting, and that's why when I've seen these minis, it's kind of spoken to me. So the miniatures that I'm looking at, I'm talking about a collection of miniatures as to one specifically, comes from a company called Alternity Miniatures, which doesn't really roll off your tongue, but we'll pop the link in the description below. And what they tend to do is they tend to bring a kind of post-apocalypse or alternate future miniatures. What you've got there on your screen is the first one, and actually I picked that up at SMC because it kind of spoke to me when I saw it. But it's that, and a couple of the others, they actually do ones with children as well, and they tend to revolve around individuals in hazmat suits, individuals in gas masks. And the imagery for myself is quite haunting. If you scroll across, I think there's one.
Did you notice though, two different bases?
Yeah. When icicles added.
But is that same? Yeah, okay. It's the same base, just with it's before, right? Okay. Do you want to go on?
They sell the model, the figure by itself, so everything else has been built by whoever built that.
Okay, cool.
So you can present it in any kind of form you want. I've seen people present it in an open meadow, which has got quite a haunting narrative as well in terms of the contamination you can't see. If you scroll across to the next picture, I think there's a few there where they've also got children in hazmat suits. Now, for me,
this is my favourite.
Yeah.
Of the ones you've sampled for us today. I think I liked it because I don't know. You wanted to say some stuff.
No, go ahead. Yeah. Tell me why you like it, and then.
Well, it's Disney woman, isn't it? Right, Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
And it's also a little girl. So normally with a toy, things that I assume with, well, maybe not so much now, Disneyland. Also, it's like a knockoff Disneyland because her ears are like to the side rather than on the top. But it's like you associate with fun, happiness, and joy. Whereas she doesn't look that happy, does she? Really?
Well, she might be smiling into a gas mask.
Her body language, though.
I think that's precisely. I think what's clever about these miniatures is you've got the freedom once you buy them to put them in any background or setting you want and tell a kind of narrative. But I think at their heart, what you've got there is what appears to be a toddler wearing a gas mask, which in itself is a very disturbing and haunting image. And the person next to him is probably a young child as well. And it's that horror of war, that horror of something so innocent and pure being subjected to something so dark, which for me paints that haunting imagery. So once again, like I said, it's not an obvious horror trope in that sense, but I think the way they're presented, particularly the way they've done these studio pieces, are quite scary in my view. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It's interesting that you've got. it's like so bleak. It's like it's Halloween, but also like turned up to bloody 11. That's
it. Yeah, that's it precisely.
Because I didn't read into that when you sent the photos. I was like, oh yeah, they're nice. I wasn't thinking, oh my god, like everyone's fucking dead. Sorry.
Well, that's the other thing. I think the other thing as well is my views changed since I've become a father and you've got your own your kids. Yeah. You've got that sense of protecting your young, you're protecting your family, and I think these miniatures just speak to everything that you would scream at or you'd be scared of as an adult father. You look at it and you think, God forbid if my daughter was in that situation. So for me, like I said, I think the difference is my idea of horror now has changed completely to what my idea of horror was maybe 10, 15 years ago. So I just thought it was an interesting one from my perspective. Pete, you were at the stand with me last week. What was your view of these miniatures?
Oh, they were really good. And I think that there were a lot of different settings there, painted displays on the stand, and each one of them had that same kind of feeling. It was they were really pretty cool, and the fact that you could get the bases as resin kits as well was also a real bonus. If you wanted to recreate what they built, it was all there.
Oh, that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
That's quite
cool. Although the one that you're showing there now with the kind of almost like the porthole kind of.
Yeah, I like this as an art piece a lot.
Yeah, I don't think it was a resin kit, but that's really quite a.
Yeah. It almost looks like a flat, weirdly. I know it's not, but
it must be mounted on a box or something.
No,
I like that.
Yeah. Also, just for the viewers at home or on the phone, maybe on the tube or a plane, who knows? They downloaded it. We're dark to create an ominous Halloween feeling. We're not just all sat in the dark. Yeah. And it's potentially. I was thinking in the interview we all could have been wearing bed sheets. But then I didn't want to say it because I thought it would be just too. Do you know what I mean?
It might be construed.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, get out. Right. Yeah, I like your trail of thought there, Lionel. I feel like mine. It's not a comparison. It's not a competition. I feel like mine's not, it's not. Well, I'll show you in a minute. I think it's a cool model.
I think my choice is the completely opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah. It's freaky. I was going to make a joke, but I'm not going to now, actually, because I'm learning.
I've obviously taken it too dark too soon. You'll have to bring on your selection just to liven it up a bit.
Mine's equally as dark. That's
okay.
Yeah, it's basically about oh no, I won't make that joke either. Right, so anything you want to say more about them, Lionel?
No, just I've picked one up, so I'm going to give it a go.
My question actually,
yeah, I picked one up amongst my loot from last week, so I'm going to go in terms of exploring a narrative and a quick paint up and see where I go with it. So I'm looking forward to having a go with that.
Are you tempted to do that with the journey with Alfonso?
No,
it's just like explorative.
Yeah, I'm now that I finish, and like I said, I don't want to talk too much about SMC. We're going to save that for a class by itself. But now that I finish with that, I'm going to look at just knocking out some pieces, just for fun. Not with a view to going anywhere.
That is it. Yeah.
Just to explore narrative. If it doesn't work, it worked. If it doesn't, stick it in the cabinet, forget about it, move on. There's more than just pieces for competition or high end, as you put it.
Yeah, I think what I find kind of maybe not scary, but unnerving for myself personally is now I've painted 9 models this year, which is the same amount of models that I've painted in 15 years before that, right? And before, like, as in 3 years ago, if someone had to try to buy a model that I'd painted, like not the old ones, but now, I just like almost no amount of money I would have been able to sell it, because it was like a part of my soul I'd put into the model, like the amount of effort and love, right? And now I've been painting models and I've just been throwing them in my drawer, like, and I've painted them to a decent standard, but I have no attachment to them at the moment. Like, I have no space in my cabinet, and I'm not moving stuff that isn't painted. Everything in my cabinet is basically unpainted, except for one shelf. But anyway, the point was, it's an interesting that now I'm painting for fun. I care a lot less about this having this like sentimental value attached to models. Have you had that? That was where I was going.
What since?
And Peter, both of you, yeah. Like, well, the more you paint, you find the less that you are desperate to keep that model that you put loads of effort into. It's a hard question to answer because I didn't phrase it well.
No, I suppose it depends what I'm doing with it. It depends on where I want it to. Where I want it to end up. If like I said, I've got a different approach to models now. There'll be models which will be a 1 week, 5-minute job. There'll be models that I will spend weeks and months over. Obviously, the longer I spend on something, the more attachment I will have to it. The less likely.
But like, so Peter, for your stuff that you've got on the putty and paint site, stuff that you did in like 2011, do you still have them in your cabinet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you do keep it.
I keep it. Yeah. But it's the act of painting is probably the most important bit about it for me.
Then the model, yeah.
So I'm a lot happier to do pieces for people now, like commission I do, and I'm quite happy and almost kind of actually proud to sort of package that up in a box and like ship it off to whoever's commissioned it. So
crap yourself.
You what? Sorry?
And crap yourself, because every time you put a painted model in the post, you're like, oh god, I really do not want that model getting lost.
Well, you just got to make sure it's all insured up to the hilt, basically, so that no matter what happens,
you get money back.
Some kind of recourse.
I mean, it's scared. Even though I've got money, I'm scared to post, because this guy's now commissioned me to paint. You know that the guy I asked you about, the Gobbo, the night guy. And I was painting him, and I looked at the model and the painting. I was like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought it was. And now I'm like, do I want to sell it to him? But yeah, I do. Anyway, cool. Let's move on. And thanks. Did you have anything else to add?
No, not on that. No, I just wanted to make people aware of it. I just think there's some cool pieces, quite unique. I've not seen anything else like it on the market. So yeah, that's I just thought give them a look. Give them a try if you like him. But I'm intrigued to see what your suggestion is like now, Jamie.
It's nothing like yours. I was lying.
You've built it up now. Oh,
yeah,
right.
No.
Oh,
right. Yeah. So I think this is very much Halloween themed. I mean, I think what it is. So it's Mr. Lee's minis basically, and they're doing a kind of, I don't know if range is the right word, but this character. I think they've got 2 now, and this is the second. And both of them. So the first one was him, and he was reading a book, and he had a candle, right? And he's sitting on the floor like a toddler would be. So I've seen that. And actually, these photos are thanks to. Oh gosh, I don't want to get the name wrong. Hold on. It was Grey Mountain Reviews, basically. So all these photos are taken from their side. I wasn't sure if they actually did put mountain in their name, but they did. So I just shout out because it's their photos. So these aren't my photos. And I found that the model, like, inherently, I don't particularly like, or at least I didn't like the idea of painting something that wasn't elder based, right? As you know,
that's your worst fear. If we're talking about scary things, that's the scary. That's the scariest thing for you, isn't it, Jamie?
That's what I should have done. Just put a picture of a space marine. It's not elder, so. But now I look at them and I think I have a narrative go in my head a bit more. and I always think that this guy could be the son of like the devil or something, some such, just playing
Wow.
in the or he could be
Right.
some magician like, but like a really young magician who's just got all this inherent super ability to be able to summon them, and he summoned a friend. Anyway, basically, I think that the minis are really good because there's so much narrative that you could paint yourself with a model, with the background, and
Yeah, I've seen this piece, and the one thing that struck me when I saw it, I've seen the piece. This one I haven't seen before, but I've seen the one where he's sitting down, I think, reading from a book.
Yeah,
I've seen that, and when I saw it, it kind of had an 80s vibe to it, in the sense that it wouldn't be out of place in the Never-Ending Story or the Labyrinth or that kind of Jim Henson's Puppet Workshop thing. That's what I liked about it. And when you've got that narrative or that interplay in your mind, you can then build a suitable setting. So I agree, it's very blank in the sense that it could be in a mischievous character in an 80s kids film, but equally you could take it to a very, very, very dark place as well. Which is what I think is quite a clever thing about the sculpt.
I think what's also interesting is he could either be a toddler or a 50-year-old man.
Agreed.
Agreed. Like, he's just a weird devil child that didn't grow up. I don't know. Like,
those buttocks are quite scary as well.
And there you go. So he's got his book still, and he's closed it. I think what made me think he was a man because he's holding a fish behind his back, and he's definitely thinking about slapping someone. Like, that's how I see it.
Isn't he holding his book behind his back?
Oh, and he's hidden a fish behind it.
And the fish is like attached to his strap or something?
Oh, that's a lot less exciting. Yeah, you're right.
Sorry,
there's an edit. There's a conversion idea.
Yeah, that's odd.
Happy slaps.
What is really great about this model, I think I've just got to mention the sculptor.
Okay.
So the sculptor himself, his name is on the front box. If you go back.
Yeah, I couldn't pronounce it.
Yeah, Romain van der Bogart, if that's how you pronounce it. Hopefully, sorry if it's not. But yeah, the guy is a superb sculptor, and the volumes, everything that he sculpts in are just fantastic. The quality of line and kind of the putty that he's pushed around. I don't think there's anyone else in the miniatures kind of world at the moment sculpting like him. This is almost like an actual sculpture. Rather than a miniature, it's something special. Every piece he does is special, really.
I think that kind of I was going to say it earlier, but I was like, I've already spoken too long. But it reminds me weirdly of Alfonso when he does an exploratory piece. Isn't right, but you know how he paints in a way you fully get the picture, but it's not completely transitioned perfectly.
Yeah.
And that's the feeling I got with this, where everything works. It's super beautiful, but it's not like some disgustingly 3D sculpted like perfection model, as it were.
Yeah.
Which I thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah, I think he's an amazing sculptor. Really, really always impresses me.
Are you, Jamie, with this being your selection, are you tempted to pick it up and have a go?
Thanks for asking, Lionel. So honestly, my backlog is, but I don't feel pressure at the moment with my backlog. I've got quite a big backlog, but because I'm slapping through stuff so quickly, I think it wouldn't be the right time to buy it now. But I've got like maybe 10 things that I'm quite excited to paint. And I think
nine of those are Eldar.
Literally, I've got a pile of those 10 custom elders I made, and I've not painted one of them.
That fills me with horror.
Yeah. Halloween special, isn't it? No, I've got all these Black Sun things that I ordered. And I'm just, because I don't know if it's true, but they feel like I can go a bit more high level on them, a bit more like learning. Whereas this piece would be like a fun. I'd paint it in a similar way as it was sculpted.
I actually think this piece would be very challenging to paint. I think that's what would stop me picking it up at the moment. Is I would struggle to know how I would approach this kind of piece at the moment. It's basically all flesh, isn't it?
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be skin tone. I imagine purple with like bluish highlights. Weirdly.
Yeah, I think that's the difficulty with it, isn't it? You wouldn't know where to start because he's a demoness child or an old man or a young child. Or I think by the time you've figured out what your palette is and start approaching it, I think for me that's what concerned me about picking this up. It'd be a very challenging piece from my perspective, from my skill background and where I'm starting from to even start to approach. But I've seen friends do very good versions of it.
I mean, by you telling me that stuff makes me want to paint it more, because I'm like, nah, it's easy, and I'll do it in an evening. Obviously, reality would not be that, but yeah.
I think it's one of those things where you could just attack it, attack the volumes, and in exactly the same way as you described, and then refine it if you want to. But it could be a lot of fun to do, I think.
I think the lack of refine. Yeah, go on, Lana.
No, sorry, go ahead. Finish.
Yeah, I think for me, right now, for some reason, the idea of refining stuff puts me off painting.
Yeah.
I'm so much more excited about, and that's why that model for me is so attractive, because I don't feel like I'd need to refine it. As long as I've got the volumes right and it looks right.
Yeah.
And that's that's what's changed so much in the last 6 months, where I couldn't not refine something. I'd have to spend like 50 hours on an elder model, and it's just a Guardian or some crap. So, but now I feel free.
Do you realise you've used up 80% of your quota of mentioning Eldar this cast?
Well, we've got one at the end, don't we? So
we'll start the only other thing I wanted to say before we moved on quickly, you said that was from Mr. Lee's Minis. Yeah. If people want to get it at home, is there a website?
Yeah, the trouble is I've avoided this deliberately.
Right. Okay.
Because I don't know how to say it, but it's basically like archivist on the run. Archivist, archivist.
Yeah, archivist. Yeah.
Archivist. I don't know what that is, but that's what he is apparently, and he's running from something.
Okay. And
that's the model name, and Mr. Lee's Minis. .com.
We'll get him in the description.
Yeah.
You've just made that .com /.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming it is. It must have some sort of URL there, so.
We'll get the URL in the description when we post it.
Sure. Okay.
And in all the other of those things, mediums that we will be publishing too. Right.
So now, I went completely the opposite of Lionel. I went for something classic. So, these guys, Massive Miniatures, again, another group of guys we spoke to at SMC. All of a sudden, the name knocked out of my brain, even though it's been one hell of a miniatures event. And these guys were there, and they had just a small company to start off with. I think it's about 5 figures they produce, but one of them was a kind of archetypal old crone, which was particularly interesting. Particularly interesting because actually they're within one figure. There are a number of different options which actually make it look quite different. So obviously at this one, it's got the classic apple, little bit kind of Sleeping Beauty and a pointy hat, and then the other one has got a beckoning finger.
Equally, the hair out is actually a lot more disgusting and scary.
It does, yeah. It's kind of like it almost looks kind of sweaty and greasy.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of gross.
It's well sculpted.
But it's a lot of detail in there. I think on the other picture as well, she's got like a little wicker man kind of like in her hand, which is brings back Blair Witch Project.
In a way, this is more scary than yours to me, Lionel.
Right.
The idea of this tart being real, and the thing is, there are people that look like that in real life, and obviously there's no witchcraft, but it's still damn scary.
I think what I like about this piece is obviously since I've had children and I've got daughters, I've basically worked through the back catalogue of Disney about 25 times. Yeah. Now, if you look at the one where she's got the hat on, she could, as you said, it's obviously playing on the Sleeping Beauty vibe, isn't it? Yeah. She could have walked straight out of that. But what I like about it is it's Sleeping Beauty switched up a notch. The subtle changes, like as you said, the hair, it's a bit darker. She's got fangs. Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of if you cross the Blair Witch with the kind of with the kind of Disney interpretation of what an evil witch looks like and blended them together, you'd come out with that. So it's one of those things I initially think, oh, I'd like to show my daughter of it because it looks like something from Sleeping Beauty. But then when you take a close look at it, it's a lot darker. And you think, well, actually, maybe I won't, because it's not that kind of friendly Disney vibe about it. I think it's brilliantly executed. It feels like it's come from classic, so it feels like a classic grim tale, or
I think it's a good. I think it's like we had a book called a book of which had a name, which I obviously can't remember, but it was basically all the fairy tales, but with the original ones. So obviously Disney is picked on that, but the witch actually did eat. Is it Hansel and Gretel, like in the oven kind of thing? The morals of the story weren't you get out of it. The morals of the story were you're just gonna get screwed, basically. Yeah. And she reminds me of the person. The reason why she's smiling so much in this photo, because she actually looks happy, is because that's just dessert for the child she just ate. Whereas like the other ones, like the Disney, it's happy. Whereas that actually looks disgusting and grotesque, which is I'm assuming the vibe they were going for.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, once again, this is another piece where, depending on what palette you pick, you could have a very different interpretation. Like I said, you could go very drab and grey. You equally could go very colourful and saturated, and both would work. So once again, I think it's a nice piece in terms of exploring that narrative and that ambience.
I'll tell you what I'd do. You could bring a nice little satirical view into this. Swap the apple for a phone. Yeah, make it all modern day. She's old and withered because she looks at her phone so much. Put some social media on it. Brilliant. Just come in a sideways look.
No, hang on a second there, Jamie. Social medias and phones is how we plug what we're doing.
Leave it. So, no, they should. To be honest, they should boycott it straight away.
No, so let's not go down on it. Otherwise,
what probably happened was she started watching Mini Matters
and got so bored
20 years ago. Was so interested.
Oh, okay.
That aged and teeth are falling out and stuff because she's.
But now she's met like she's.
Or maybe she was just young when she started watching this particular episode.
It's dragged on so long.
It's gone so long. There's so many tangents. She's aged.
I think that she's got the same 5 seconds on loop. And that's what she's got in her head now, because she's crazy. Because she got into it so much because she became a super fan. And now she just wants to relive that moment for the rest of her life. Well, and that's why she's covering up.
He got old. He had used up 80% of his quota.
To be honest, I didn't even talk about Elder. Lionel did. So.
Oh, there we go. That's 85% of your quota.
I'm going to ask Pete the same question I've asked Jamie. Do you think you'll pick this up and give it a try, Pete?
Do you know what? I think I'm in a bit of a similar situation to Jamie, but my backlog is probably 10 times larger. So I'm out of everything that I saw at SMC, I've managed to just come away with one miniature purchase because I'm trying.
Impressive.
I've got lots of really amazing stuff.
To be fair though, I'm going to take credit for that because I was holding him down. He was like, "No, I need to buy that line." I went, "No, Pete."
How many of those have you already got, Peter?
Exactly.
Yeah. I used my strength to restrain him.
I think it was. I don't know. I don't think I've spoken about selling my collection with you guys, have I? Really?
No.
The 1 ton worth of Warhammer that I have, like the 1,000 kilos that I have. Have I said it? No. Anyway.
No.
Going through that was, as you've just said, you realise it's an eye-opener because you literally have like 4 of the same one. So you've obviously made the mistake of thinking you didn't have it 4 times, which,
That's not quite my challenge.
Cool. I misunderstood you.
I think that's unique to you, Jamie.
I haven't got multiples. What I've got is just decades worth of pretty amazing sculpts.
Yeah, that's actually what I meant. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have 4.
Each one of mine is individual, apart from my Space Marines, but that's a different fetish altogether.
Yeah. Are you as bad with Space Marines as I am Elder?
No. Nowhere near.
Right. I don't know if that's true. What do you reckon, Lionel?
No, I think Pete's got a passing interest in it. I think you need medical help. I think,
Right.
I think you need to seek professional help.
All right. Well, on to Elder then quickly. Well, it's not Elder.
Just to quickly finish on that last one. So the other thing which really interests me about these guys was that it's a small range but growing, and everything that they do is got a sort of, it's like quite classic. It's like a classic witch. There's like a classic Minotaur but with the twist. There's loads of other really cool things. So again, we'll put the link in the description, but have a look because there's other stuff there that they do too. But this one just was particularly fitting for Halloween.
The other point as well, as Pete's already alluded to, we have got an interview lined up from these guys, which we've got to release in the near future. So there'll be more coverage in relation to next few days.
And apologies in advance if the audio is not great. I think this might be one where I forgot to switch the microphone on.
I think Jamie's working his magic behind the scenes to try and clean that up. So
it's not.
Yeah,
I'm going to try.
We might just put it out anyway.
Yeah, I think we should. You can hear it. You just need to whack the volume up.
It's going out. It's going out. It's going out regardless. Yeah.
Also, this could have been a decent one. For Halloween, and
who's painted that?
Oh, bloody idiots!
The light source is all over the shop. Rubbish.
To be fair, did you watch Alfonso's review on it?
No, but I do know it's yours. I'm only pulling your leg. It's very good. You
went hard on it.
You painted that in what, 30 minutes? Did you say?
Yeah, it was like 40 minutes or something.
That's outstanding for a 40-minute piece of work.
Oh, thank you very much, Lionel.
That's all right.
Yeah. It looks almost like from a graphic novel, the way because it's not refined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I quite like it, to be honest.
I like it as well. Yeah.
I haven't. I think I did this like 4 months ago. But yeah, I basically want to show it because A, it was Halloween, and this is the Halloween episode. So and B, because exactly what I was talking about with the lack of refinement. Like in a way, I don't know. I like the vibe a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I see on it that I can improve, and I probably should, but I don't even know where the model is now. But I just for some reason at the moment that like paint and don't care vibe is a lot more.
But like you said, that's a style in itself, and if it works with the piece, that's the style. You've got your different styles of drawing, different styles of painting, different styles of filming, a photo.
Yeah.
If it works for that piece, as you said, there's different finishes to different pieces. I agree, it works very well with that piece.
I should finish it in theory, right? So now we have Jamie's secret Hupper question.
Okay.
However, we have come to the conclusion that it's going to be a Hollywood Halloween-based question.
We can always try a Halloween-based one as opposed to a Hollywood one.
Yes, this was a mouthful. So right, yeah, it was like typo, but with your mouth.
Yeah. I realised I just never heard it.
I knew. Anyway, so I was going to say, what is your favourite horror film? But then I was like, no, it shouldn't be horror film. Halloween film. Okay, which horror doesn't, because there are horror films, but they're not Halloween based. I don't know. All right, let's leave it. Favorite Hollywood. Wait. Favorite Halloween film. Okay, but you have to change and tell us why the main actor for someone else.
You have to change the main actor for someone else.
Yeah. So let's say my favorite Hollywood. Oh, for God. Halloween film. Horror film. I actually hate horror films like completely. But I would say just tell me your favourite horror film. Leave it. It's been a bad day.
I think this one's my favourite one because you're kind of dying on camera.
Yeah, I mean I'm all right with it. Just favourite horror film in the ever.
Okay, I'll step up first. It's difficult to always pick that favourite one, but I think the top one, and it's probably the first film that I've seen in a long time as an adult that genuinely gave me chills, was probably Insidious, and closely followed by The Witch as well. So I think it's the first time Hollywood moved away from the gore fest films and moved into the psychological ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, Insidious was one that I was watching at the cinema, and it definitely gave me chills.
Why did you think it was so good? Because it was the psychology.
It was, yeah, it didn't go for cheap scares. If you've seen it, it didn't go for cheap scares, and it works on the premise that you see things out the corner of your eye, and by the time your brain's registered it's gone. But there's no loud noises, there's no jump scares. It generally builds to a crescendo of horror, and likewise with The Witch as well. The Witch is generally quite a disturbing, eerie film as it builds to the finale, when the true horror is revealed. It kind of catches you unawares, and you think, "Oh bloody hell!" and you kind of switch it off. And the films that make you continue to think after you've switched them off, that aren't throwaway. So for me, they're my top two.
Because interestingly, if you watch any horror film, maybe different with this one, and you mute it and watch it with subtitles, they're just hilarious. They're like
I've never
do it. It's like watching a comedy, but like black and white Charlie Chaplin comedy, because it's just so outrageous. It's so ridiculous that it's not scary. It's the music that makes it scary. So obviously these films, now they're not relying on music to do your emotions. They're actually using, like you say, like it's not sleight of hand at all, is it? But whatever you want to call it. I think the first film that I remember that happening was Signs, when the alien walks past.
Brilliant, yeah, that's a brilliant film. Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Signs, yeah.
But until that point, it wasn't really scary.
No, actually, no. Signs is one of my favourite films as well. Yeah,
it's a very good film.
Was this Bruce Willis?
No, it's the only one he did without Bruce Willis. Actually, it's Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson. That was what I meant. I was going to say, but then I was like, I can't say.
No, Joaquin Phoenix is in it as well,
Mel Gibson. Yeah, Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix. No, very good film as well.
Yes, right, Peter.
So I'm gonna. You might ban me from this one once I say it, and I might have to pick another one. So I think horror movie. My favourite horror movie is Alien, because I think really it's a horror movie set in space. And yeah, why you'd replace Sigourney Weaver in that other question you had?
Brilliant. Thanks for saying.
No idea. So I'm going to keep Sigourney Weaver.
Superseded my question. What do you think of Julia Roberts in the role?
No.
It wouldn't work. Too happy.
Yeah. Maybe Sharon Stone could pull it off.
That would be a great choice. I like Megan Fox quite a lot, actually. I think she could have done it quite well.
Oh dear, Jamie.
Yeah. Who else?
Okay. No, someone who would.
Katy Perry. Yeah.
Oh, that's not what I meant. More like Sharon Stone now, rather than Sharon Stone in the.
Right, I misunderstood your.
She crosses her legs.
I thought we were going for sarcastic, obviously bad for the role. That's the vibe I was going for.
So the question was pick your favourite horror film and then destroy it by replacing it with.
That was exactly what I was going for. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think Winona Ryder could do Ripley
when she was young, like 18.
No, now.
Yeah, I get. Sorry. Yeah. Insidious. Are there even actors in it that are famous?
What?
There aren't any famous actors, are there?
No, there are. But now you're going to put me on the spot, and I don't know his name. But yeah, yeah. I hadn't prepared the cast for you, but yeah, there are.
That's why it's a super secret surprise type of question.
I just wouldn't replace them. So don't let's boycott.
It's a crap question. Yeah, I didn't even. It was a test. It was a test to see if you guys were listening.
What about you? What's your favourite, Jamie?
Me. Film or horror film?
Horror film.
Horror film.
Yeah. The thing is, I hate horror films. Like, I absolutely hate them. But if I had to choose, as basically, we're saying the one that makes you most scared.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Okay, the one that I can remember is probably a better one.
Okay.
I don't know what it's called, but they were underground in France, and it was in the catacombs, and they had the camera that could see, but it went to a parallel universe, but somehow that universe also managed to kill them in the normal universe. Do you remember? They had a handy cam.
Did they have to rock climb out of something, or?
I think that might have been the Abyss.
No, not the Abyss.
I can't remember
Abyss
rock climbing.
is
It's in Paris, underneath in the catacombs, and some weird shit starts happening. They can't see anything. One of their mates gets eaten, but they don't know it. And then they have a handy cam because it has infrared, because it's pitch black down there. And then so they can see with the camera, but they can only see obviously with the night vision on the camera. So they walk around.
How about audience interaction? Right? Yeah. Why did someone comment and tell us what film Jamie's just described? We should do that every week.
I agree. That sounds horrific, but for completely different reasons. That probably Jamie thought it was horrific.
It was a famous film, I believe.
I don't think it was.
Nah, it was top 10 scary films of all time.
Yeah.
I did have an actual film that was maybe not horror, but was really entertaining. But as we spoke, I forgot it.
Well,
great time to end the cast.
Indeed. Let's move swiftly on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, time is up. Time was up actually now, literally 20 minutes ago for what we agreed. So.
Okay, that's the end of this first Halloween special. Let us know if you want to see another one in the future, or whether that's killed it for you.
Kill it.
Just to remind people that we're back to regular SMC coverage as of next week. We're going to have some interviews coming through for the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. We've now got a YouTube channel, an Instagram page, and a Facebook page as well. So we're getting organised. So if you can follow us on there, tune into all of those. Tune into all that for the updates. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. Please comment as well. We'd like to have your feedback. Hear what you're saying. I know Jamie loves to read the comments. We all do, and act upon them. And maybe some suggestions about future casts, so you don't get this again. That might help. But it would be great to hear from you, and stay tuned. And we've got more great stuff coming. I don't know if you guys have got anything else to add.
No, I think keep tuning in. Let us know if you want to see anything, or if there's anything you think we should review. Give us a shout. Let us know.
It's been a pleasure. That will be my input.
Okay.
Thanks for coming. Yeah.
Okay. Till next time, guys. See you later.
Bye.